as you know, guys, we have teamed up with teamwallart.com. Absolutely fantastic. They make fantastic metal plaques, as you can see here. Everton, a good Everton badge. You've got the man himself, James Rodriguez, there for all of our Colombian fans. They do worldwide delivery. Let me say that again. Worldwide delivery. 10% off with the discount code BBN10. And if you get on the website now, you'll see different plaques ranging from $7.99 with some down to $5.99. So get yourselves over to teamwallart.com using the discount code BBN10, because honestly, you have no idea how much it helps the channel and helps a family business grow. The link is, of course, in the description below. Get yourselves over to teamwallart.com now, guys. Buy yourselves a plaque. Hello.
It's me.
I'm sitting in Goodison underneath a tree.
Hello.
What's going on, everyone? It's Mike and John back again. This is your Everton against Burnley match preview. I think we've completed the look almost, John, haven't we? We've completed the look. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just a shame you're on it.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. This is going to be the setup, guys. So, as you can see, we are in a studio just off the pitch at Goodison Park. It's warm today. It's not too bad. It's a little bit of a darker night, but it's fucking glorious over here on the Blue Boys Network. John, tough game for us against Burnley. What do you think?
Listen, I was thinking about this today. I think anyone who plays Burnley knows they're in for the game, Michael. You know, they're not easy to play against. They're tough to break down. They're a physical team. And this is why I've said to you, Michael, need to come out the blocks on Saturday. You know, I won't call it a home advantage because our home record's been poor, but this is the sort of game where, you know, if you want to start making your home advantage count, it's against teams like this that you have to, you know, utilise that, you know. I'm going to say it at the beginning of the stream. For me, in my opinion, top four's gone for me, you know. And were we ever really in it, or was it us getting excited? Probably excited. You know, Chelsea have found form. Tottenham are finding a lot of form. Man United, Man City, probably the top two. Leicester don't seem to be dropping away. So it's going to be tough for Everton to finish top four. But these three games that we've got coming up now, you know, Saturday and then the 2 games after, 9 points out of 9. If we can get them, does keep the pressure on them with the game in hand. But listen, we weren't expecting to be here at the beginning of the season. So, you know, we're going to take each day as it comes, each game as it comes. But it's going to be a tough game. But I will be honest, I think Everton will beat Burnley on Saturday. I just think we will be too strong for them. You know, it'll be good to come back from the defeat the other night. I think Carlo will have drummed it into them. And if we do want these European aspirations, as I said, these are games we have to win, especially these 3 games coming up. 9 points out of 9, the next 3 games, Michael, keeps us right in the mix. Will it be enough still for top 4? Depending on other results. So I don't know, but it'll definitely cement us for a European place.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not quite in our hands, because even if we win that game in hand, if Chelsea, Leicester, Man United and Man City win all their games, we're still a point below them. So we do need them to mess up. However,
what I will say, though, is we do seem to have the easier run of games.
Exactly what I was going to say. You know, Everton, we have got a couple of difficult games. We've got Manchester City. We've got a few tough games away from home in terms of, I'd probably say, Villa, and maybe Arsenal looks slightly better than what they have done. But Everton will have confidence going into both of them. Yeah, we'll go back confident into them. We've got Tottenham at home, but that leaves 7 games. And I truly believe that if we win those 7 games, I truly believe we finish in Europe. I think 7 games, 21 points, I think that is enough to finish in Europe. We would finish on 67 points, which would be our second highest.
Europa League, doesn't it? It gets you into the Europa League.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Everton for Champions League, in my opinion, based on what the other teams are doing, we've got to win probably 9 of those games. But What's
Good
good
thing
is
about
Leicester.
I think a few of them teams play each other.
And that's what I mean. That Leicester, West Ham, Chelsea, they're all playing each other. They're all going to take points off each other. And this is where Everton are going to have the opportunities. Now, yeah, the only two teams we've got in and around us that we've got to play is West Ham and Tottenham. Man City are winning the league. Arsenal aren't going to overtake us. So the only two games that can really sort of define where we finish in that group is them two games. And if Everton win them and get the results against teams that, no disrespect, but we should probably be giving a good game, we should be playing well, like Burnley on Saturday, then Everton can finish quite high up in the table this season. I'm really, really confident to that. John, let's go into the Burnley game.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're down the bottom. They're 4 points in front of Fulham. They've sort of been in a relegation battle for the majority of the season. They looked like they were going down for the first probably 12 weeks of the season. It was them and Sheffield United rock bottom. They've managed to come good to a degree. They've got a few good players.
Well, looking at Burnley's last 6 results, okay?
Yeah.
So they beat Crystal Palace 3-0 away. They drew with Fulham. They drew with West Brom. Tottenham beat them 4-0 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Then they got a draw with Leicester. Then they got a draw with Arsenal. So listen, they don't, apart from obviously the Tottenham game, they're tough to break down. They don't concede many goals, but they don't score many. This is the thing, that this has been the problem for Burnley all season. They don't score enough goals. Fulham had the problem. They found a bit of form now. This is a must-win game for Everton on Saturday. But listen, it's just as much as a win just as much as a game that Burnley need to win. So I think it's going to be a tough game, Michael. I just think, if we've got to be tough, they're going to be hard to break down. As I say, I wouldn't play the balls high. I would try and utilise, the midfield, play the through ball, which is why I put King in my team, because you don't really beat them in the air. And this is the problem. This is why they don't concede many goals, because I think a lot of teams set up wrong against Burnley. So it is going to be tough. But if we play like we know we can play, like the performance against Liverpool, and some of the great performances that we put in this season, we're going to be too strong for Burnley, But again, it's this thing with Everton, it's the consistency. Is this going to be one of them games which we've been guilty of this season, where we think, we've just got to turn up? And you keep mentioning the teams that we've done that against, Michael. We've done it against Leeds, Newcastle, and we've dropped a lot of points by just turning up, thinking, well, we've only got to turn up and get on the pitch, and there's 3 points for the taking. You can't do that with Burnley, because they need the points just as much as us. Yeah,
you're right. You're spot on. And I think Burnley will be resilient at the back, and that's what worries me.
They'll come for a draw. They'll park the bus, Burnley.
And that's what worries me, because we struggle to break teams down at the minute. We haven't got that creative spark at the minute. No one knows what's going on with James. We don't know the injury that he's got or he hasn't got. I always, the way that I find that I work out if James is going to be playing is when they do the interviews with Carlo Ancelotti before the game. Usually, they'll do the press conference before the game, and it's whether they have the Colombian guy who asks the question, because when he hasn't been asking a question, it means he hasn't played. It sounds weird, but that's sort of a giveaway sign for me. So I'm a bit worried that Everton will struggle to break this team down. We should be able to break them down, but I'm worried. So as a result, I'll give you my team.
If you look at the players, Michael, that we need to break the likes of Burnley down, the likes of your Sigurdssons and your Andre Gomez's and stuff. We've got Takore out who can pick that pass, but for me, you need to be looking at players like Andre Gomez for games like this to pick that killer pass. And unfortunately, he's been absolutely dog shit lately, so you can't even rely on him.
So
that's what
let's go with So let's go with the team. For my team, I'll go with Pickford in goal, I don't think he deserves to be dropped. Yes, he gives away a penalty, but I mean, he was absolutely outstanding in that
I've
game.
watched that many times, and I still don't see him touch the ball or the man.
Well, Luca Dean at left back. I'll go, hopefully, I mean, touch wood, but I'm going by the training video that we saw last night, but maybe Yuri Mina's back. So I'm going with Yuri Mina and Ben Godfrey in the centre of the park. I take out Michael Keane. On the right-hand side, I'll go with Seamus Coleman. In midfield, I'll go Mason Holgate, Tom Davies, and Alan. And up front, I'll go Josh King, Richarlison, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And the reason I stick Holgate in midfield was a complete toss-up between Holgate and Godfrey, because I'd put Godfrey in midfield happily. But I think he's been absolutely solid at centre-back. And having Holgate, who can slot into centre-back, when we're on the overlap and Coleman and Luca Dean are getting down the left-hand right side of the pitch, means we play that three in that transition, which we already know that I like, and we already know that does work when that happens. Yeah, go for Mason Holgate in midfield. However, I've got no problem with Michael Keane and Yuri Mina starting, Ben Godfrey going in there, and Mason Holgate coming out the side, because he hasn't been great lately, but I know he can play in midfield. John, what's your team, mate?
Pickford got a lot of changes in mind. Same sort of players, but different positions. So we've got Pickford, Luca Dean. If Yerry Mina is fit, he goes in the centre with Michael Keane. Okay. If he's not fit, Ben Godfrey goes in the centre with Michael Keane. And I play Mason Holgate at right back. But that is only because I put Seamus Coleman on the right.
Okay, you're pushing forward. I like this.
If Yerry Mina's fit, then Ben Godfrey takes Mason Holgate's place. But we still have Coleman on the right.
Okay.
Then I've got Davis and Allen in the midfield, like yourself. Richarlison back on the left. And I go with Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Josh King up front. I don't play any Flair. I don't play, well, if you can call it Flair, from Gomez and Sigurdsson. I don't play any of them players for the simple fact Burnley are a team that rough you up and put a foot in. I think the players have picked,
that's what, yeah.
The players have picked will be able to handle that more. The likes of Gomez and Sigurdsson, they get a kick in the first few minutes. You won't see them again for the other 89 minutes. That's why I go with Davis, who can take a challenge, and Allen. Coleman will take a challenge and get on with it. You know, so I go for a strong team. But listen, I will put Seamus Coleman on the right every game before the woe, because he's been absolutely woeful. Absolutely woeful. You know, when he had a couple of good games, Michael, and then he was left out the side, and we were saying on here, you know, why isn't Iwobi playing? We miss him on the right, you know, with that bit of skill and whatever, you know what I mean, to take players on. Since we said that, he's been absolutely fucking awful. So for me, Seamus Coleman comes in on the right, because he's played there a couple of times this season when he's come on as sub, Michael, and he's looked good. He's looked good. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Listen, for me, Seamus Coleman's not the player he was. I think we all agree on that. So that's why I push him further up, because I think if he has got a track back, he doesn't get back as fast. So we leave that to Mason Holgate or Ben Godfrey, and he can play further up where you haven't got to track back as much.
Yeah, no, and I get that. So I'm cool with that. I think that's a good team. I can understand the setup. I wanted to mention a certain striker that we've got, who started the season absolutely fantastic, and I'm not saying he hasn't been good since. I felt a bit sorry for him because he's been quite isolated, but Calvert-Lewin, some of the opportunities he's had over the last 6 or 7 games, I think he would have buried. There's a particular one that stands out for me. I think it was against Man United, and he goes round the keeper, or he can't go round the keeper. And there was one the other week where he was 1-on-1 and he puts it straight at the keeper. I don't know whether he's lacking a bit of confidence.
There's a few things that stand out for me with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. One, He hasn't been getting the service, so I will back him
Yeah,
for his
yeah.
goal scoring drought that he's on. He's not getting the service. I think that's been pretty obvious when he's having to come back into our half to look for the ball, to tackle the opposition for the ball and to win it back. You know what I mean? He's having to look for it because he's not getting the service. Going back to what you've just said about the chances he's been missing, you know, and they have dried up. For me, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is not the finished article. I think we all know that. But his one-on-one side of play is poor for me. You know, the one-on-ones he's had this season, the chances he's had. Josh King probably scores them. Richarlison scores them. We've seen it with Richarlison. He scored one-on-ones. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for me, is not as clinical one-on-one with the opposition goalkeeper. So I think he's got to learn that side of his game. Maybe he's not that sort of centre forward. I don't know. But there's a few things what have let Dominic Calvert-Lewin down the last couple of games, Michael, you know, to justify that he hasn't been scoring. But the main thing for me is the service. The service to him has been absolutely fucking woeful.
Yeah, agreed. And it was blatantly obvious in the Chelsea game. Yes, Chelsea are a good side, but when they played a midfield that had two holding midfielders in there with Jorginho and the other lad, I can't remember who it was. I expected Everton to get Sigurdsson on the ball and for him to be able to turn and create something for him, and it never happened. He has had his injuries. He's had a few injuries this season, which I don't think we've seen as many injuries in his Everton career as we probably have this season, because he has been a little bit in and out of the side over the last sort of 12 weeks. But it's we're seeing that we're not scoring as many goals. You know, it's abundantly obvious. And yes, when we started the season, we were winning games 4-3, 5-2. 3-0, 4-0.
Set up then though as well, wasn't it? You know, as I said to you, Michael, you look at the beginning of the season when we were unbeaten in 7 or 8 games, we were playing and we were scoring goals, yet we were conceding them, but we were scoring a lot more goals. So I also think the change in formation has affected Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well, and the service to him.
And do you think that's because I said this on Battle of the North, I said this, I said Everton haven't been able to put their full strength team out. And I went all the way back to the Liverpool game at home, where we drew 1-1. Because if you think about it, Alan's been injured. Richarlison went off the boil because of that red card. He didn't come back the same player. Obviously, he's been much better lately. Obviously, he's scored 4 in 5 or whatever it is. So, you know, he's sorted that out. But Everton haven't. Luka Dean was then out for 6 weeks. Alan's been out. Now Doucouré's out for 6 weeks. Everton haven't been able to play their best 11 at all this season. 5 games. And yet we're still sitting in 6th place. That's a positive. But also it shows that we need a bit more squad depth in these final kick-ons in the season. You know, we saw it against Chelsea.
That's been pretty evident that, you know, the last couple of benches that we've had, you know, there was games that, you know, a month ago where we had 2 goalkeepers on the pitch. Then you look at the benches the last 2 games, it's full of kids apart from the odd, you know, first team player, Tom Davis, Bernard. You know, we had this conversation tonight, didn't we, Michael? We probably need 3 players to come straight into the first 11, but we probably need another 2 or 3 for the squad as well. So we need 6-7 games. That makes the squad stronger as well.
Let's go to score predictions, because I am worried about this game. And the last time I said I was worried about a game, we lost. So I am worried. I'm going to obviously be hopeful. We're at home. We was on a good run before Chelsea. But to say I'm worried is an understatement. So go on, you go first.
2-0.
Yeah.
To Burnley. Joking. Nah, 2-0 to the Blue Boys. I do. I think with the team I've picked, listen, it's not going to be the team he picked. He's not going to put Coleman on the right. Sigurdsson will be in there. We all know that. But that's the team I'd like to see. But I still think where Burnley are in the league and whatever they're chasing, you know, we're coming off the back of a defeat. I think Ancelotti will have worked hard with them since the Man City game. I will be expecting us to win this 2-0.
Yeah, I'm going 1-0.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight.
I'm
But
worried.
this is the game, isn't it? You know, we done a score prediction on the last game, and we said there's no in between. We either batter them. I think it was West Brom. We either batter them, or it's a boring game, and we just scrape through. You know, and I don't see that with this. I don't see Burnley beating us. I can only see one side winning the game. Don't think we'll score shitloads of goals because we're not. But I do think we'll get a couple.
I'm going to ask you one last question, not about the game, just about Everton Football Club. Obviously, very, very soon, we're going to find out what's happened with the government consultation regarding the new ground. It was 20. There you go. It's not long, obviously. It's probably going to be good news. Do you think that will give us a lift going into the end of the season, or do you think it really matters?
I don't think it matters, to be fair, Michael. You know, because when you look at the squad of players that we've got now, you know, it's going to take 3 or 4 years to get into Bramley Moor. How many of them are going to be there anyway? You know, so you know, you look at that, it won't matter to them. You know, they're football players. They should be able to play on fucking goals, Marine, you know, Bootle FC. They should be able to play anywhere, regardless of if there's something exciting on the horizon that's going to get built for the club they play for. I don't think it gives them a lift at all, to be fair. I don't think it affects that. What I will say is I don't see any problems. I did read something that the government have never, ever, ever gone against a council decision, ever, for any big build. I don't see it happening now. You know, look, when they had the meeting the other week, the majority vote was a massive majority, you know, and what Everton Football Clubs in East Barrett Baxendale had to say, you know, reading between the lines, they were very, very impressed with what's happening, you know, and they were really impressed what legacy is getting left at Goodison Park. So I think the government will see exactly the same, and I don't see any problems. That gets passed on the 17th of March. I reckon you'll start to see something happen in the end of April on Bramley Moor.
Okay.
What I will say, things are already happening on there because I found this out. So there's a couple of buildings there, what Everton are preserving, but they have windows in, full of birds, desks, blah, blah, blah. So there's a couple of lads being sent down there. 3 lads have gone down to work there to clear it all out and to board the windows up, ready for the work that they've got to do inside these buildings.
Yeah, there you go. There's an exclusive by John Maguire. Jesus Christ.
Things are happening already, but obviously you don't see no spades, you don't see no cranes or anything, but things are happening on there, apparently.
Okay.
I say apparently because I don't want it to shoot the messenger, so.
Brilliant. Fucking hell. Brilliant. John, have you got anything else to say to our fantastic subscribers?
One thing I do want to bring up, talking about Mr. Iwobi before, his Instagram picture or post. Now, when he goes away with the with his international team, he did say it'll be good to play in my preferred position when I'm away on international duty. I don't like that. I don't like players commenting on social media at all. If they have a problem with the job they're being asked to do for our football club, it should stay within the four walls and not get put on social media. It's obviously a dig at the manager. It's obviously he doesn't see himself on the right side of midfield. But for the money that Everton paid for him, that's regardless of the money. But when you've been signed by Arsenal and then the money Everton pay for you, you should be able to fucking play anywhere. You should not go on social media having a pop at the manager because he's playing you in not your preferred position. I don't like that.
I don't know. I've only seen the one snippet, and I think he's pointing it at Nigeria rather than, I don't know. I don't know who he's pointing it at. I don't know whether he's pointing it at club or country. That's my problem. I haven't got a clue.
I don't think it's pointed at Nigeria because he said he's looking to go away to play in his preferred position.
Oh, is that what it? Yeah. So I've only glanced at it. So, oh yeah. I mean, if that's yeah. So what's he going to do? Is we're going to play Iwobi in a number 10 position, and where's James going to go, or Sigurdsson, who's created more goals and more assists than him?
Well, I'm not being funny. Iwobi shouldn't be on the fucking pitch anywhere, in my opinion, on his recent form. But I think he's got an absolute cheek to come out and have a pop at Everton Football Club on social media, because basically he's not playing in his preferred position. When I'm not being funny, he's lucky to be getting picked at all.
Fair. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Cheers for that, John. Thanks for that input.
Just end it on a rant.
Guys, also...
Now, we're going to get a pie in the programme now.
yeah, we're about to kick off in a minute, aren't we? One last thing I just want to mention before we go. Obviously, you saw the advert at the start of this. So we obviously have our channel sponsor, which is teamwarlord.com, and they've been fantastic with us. They've given us a real opportunity to grow. We need some more orders if we're going to keep a sponsor and we're going to keep the channel sponsor. So, guys, if you plan on donating during the stream, it sounds silly, but it would be good to buy a plaque, get something out of it. As I say, you get 10% off with the discount code BBN10. You get worldwide shipping. It's just they're lovely plaques, big metal plaques, magnetic. Just support them. We'd really appreciate it, guys. It means a lot. Trust me, it means a lot to this channel if you support them. Read between the lines what you will, guys. So yeah, let's leave it there, guys. Guys, I will see you soon. John, thanks for tuning in today. Yeah, you planning on being there? Yeah, we'll be right. We'll be right here.
These are our season tickets now. We've bought these season tickets. These are our seats now.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're just behind the advertising boards, but not quite on the seats. It's where there used to be.
We've got our tripod set up behind the seats, so when the game starts, all we have to do is do one of that, and we can just face the pitch.
Yeah, we just it, and we're laughing. You see, it's a great game of football.
Great, yeah, no one in front of us.
It's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, John will take some headshots because he's got a massive fat head, but we'll be all right.
Pot kettle.
Brilliant. Right. See you later, guys. Peace.
Cheers, folks.